According to the National Center for Health Research, over 40% of adolescent girls and over 20% of adolescent boys report using social media for 3 or more hours each day. We find ourselves taking little phone breaks throughout our day, and we look at the time and they lasted way longer than we thought. It is so easy to push away the things that we need to get done and just get on social media. It allows us to escape the real world that we live in, and for some of us, it is even our source of income or career. For platforms like Instagram and Snapchat, I find myself always looking for that approval from the people that are viewing my posts. It's always, how many likes did you get? Or does this look okay to post? Or will so-and-so approve? Because of those questions, I lack self-confidence, and my positivity towards myself and others has degraded drastically. Because we use social media so much in our everyday lives and it affects our mental health, I'm going to explain the pros and cons, the effects it has on our mental health, and tips to manage the usage of your social media. It is hard to narrow down whether social media is positive or negative, so I'm going to give qualities of both. Some pros for social media is that it is easier to communicate with people all over the world. Lonely people feel surrounded, and it helps people promote social changes. In a social networking article, 93% of adults on Facebook use it to connect with family members, 91% use it to connect with current friends, and 87% use it to connect with friends from the past. If we still were to use letters today, it would take way too long to even finish a conversation, so social media speeds that process up and gives us that instant satisfaction that we all need. For introverted people who don't like to open up face-to-face, it allows them to connect with people who feel the same exact way, but there's a screen in between them. You can be transparent with everyone and no one would even know it was you. That feeling of having someone to relate with you will cause you to not feel as alone. With today's social movements like Black Lives Matter and feminism, Develop Good Habits article says the youth have launched numerous campaigns that call their peers to pressure government and businesses to become more fair. This can open the eyes to the world around everybody, and it can cause us to be more susceptible to actually making a change. Now, some cons about social media are that it triggers insecurities, our privacy is more at risk, and it is mentally damaging. Influencers and celebrities always come off as having this perfect life, or they look the perfect way, and constant looking at the likes and comments that these people are receiving will cause us to have lower self-esteem and cause a lot of doubts in our lives. Now, from personal experience, I can say that it is definitely easy to get hacked. You may think you have the strongest password in the world, but you can still get hacked. The Develop Good Habits article also says that more often you'll be tagged in photos and posts about your personal lives, whether it is with or without consent. The scariest part about that is that people can find out so much information about you so easily. Now, the worst con about social media is the major effect it has on our mental health. The major effects it has on us gives us depression, it causes us to have more FOMO, and body image negativity. The National Center for Health Research article also said most of these studies indicate that the time spent on social media is correlated with depression. An example from that same article showed that the people who unplugged from Facebook for a month already showed lower symptoms of depression and anxiety. A lot of people spend a lot of their time on their phone at night, right before bed, and staying up and losing sleep from just being on social media will definitely increase your chances of getting depression and anxiety. FOMO is the fear of missing out. If you're constantly feeling like you're going to miss that important job that happens, or that special text from that special someone, then you are experiencing FOMO. Feeling like you're always being excluded from the things you think everybody is doing leaves an awful feeling about yourself. Not thinking you're good enough, or wishing you were here or there. Those are the thoughts that lead to depression. The third major factor is body image negativity. There are so many apps today that can edit and shape our bodies to look the acceptable way that our world wants us to look. In a Grace Sweeney article, she explains a study that the University of Notre Dame in Australia performed, in which they found that the girls were dealing with more than the common issue of wanting to look like someone else. It was more about wanting someone else's life altogether. Now, going back to the celebrity influencer topic, although they may look and act perfect, they aren't. They use the same editing and shaping apps that we use, and they even take it that extra mile and get surgery sometimes. That constant comparison can lower our self-esteem and eventually lead back to depression. Even though social media affects our mental health negatively, there are ways you can reduce the risk of developing depression and anxiety. There are a lot of easy habits that you can practice in your daily life in order to stay healthy mentally. For instance, the amount of time you spend on your phone at night is probably going to be one of the biggest factors. So a tip from the National Center for Health Research says to pick a time at night after which you will not check your phone, and if possible, recharge your phone in another room while you sleep. Another tip from that same article says to use a real alarm clock instead of relying on your phone to wake you up. And using your phone right in the morning will just start your day off to a negative start. Another big factor we talked about was body image negativity. Now, the National Center for Health Research also said they think it's best to take a break from apps you notice contribute to unhealthy body image or feelings of inadequacy. A lot of phones these days, you can limit the screen time that you spend each and every day, so lowering that time on specific apps that you know you spend a lot of time on will prevent you from using it longer than 1 to 2 hours. After gaining further knowledge of the effects it has on our mental health, the pros and cons, and the usage tips, we can see that social media isn't the best thing for us. With the usage of social media hours each and every day, I'm sure we can all come to a conclusion that it isn't all that it's cracked up to be.